Welcome to Walking in Their Shoes. Welcome to a new episode of Walking in Their Shoes, a podcast where we invite entrepreneurs and recognized professionals to step into their customer shoes. In these discussions, our guests share their ongoing efforts to better understand their clients' needs and provide the best customer experience. Both professionally and personally, I'm a firm believer of continual growth and learning. And in business, this mindset is paramount and should start by its founder, its leader. Only like this, a business can attain excellence. That is why, in Walking in Their Shoes, we discover the values and aspirations of our guests that have shaped them in the person they are today, and also how do they instill these values in their organization to provide the best customer experience. We're currently seeing a trend in more and more industries where they're putting clients at the center of their efforts. That is why it's very interesting to see how our guests are reinventing their practices to really embrace this customer-centricity approach to better understand the client's needs and provide the best personalized experiences. Today, I'm very excited to chat with Rieko Dalhuisen, a born aviator and turned into an aviation entrepreneur, founder of JetConsult, a private jet company based in the Netherlands and in Andorra. They're all about business jets, charging them out, managing them, but most importantly, making their clients happy. Let me tell you a bit about Rieko. He grew up in a small village in the Netherlands and joined the Royal Netherlands Air Force from a very young age, as he had been fascinated by planes since he was a kid. During his 6 years in the Air Force, he held several positions and ended flying as crew member, loadmaster based out of Germany. After his Air Force adventure, Rieko jumped into the commercial flying world, which had him living in different countries before bringing him back to his home country, the Netherlands. That's when Rieko decided it was time to settle down, get married, and start thinking about what's next. He got into the private jet charter business with a Dutch company, but realized after a few years that he didn't want to work for someone. He wanted to be his own boss. So in 2015, he launched JetConsult, and being just shy of its 10th anniversary, the business is thriving. Kicking off a business at the age of 40, when most people might be hitting that midlife crisis, came out pretty well for Rieko. Welcome to Walking in Their Shoes, Rieko. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Good morning.
Very, very happy to have you on the podcast. And actually, thank you so much for having us in such an amazing, with an amazing backdrop. I mean, we cannot complain today, yeah?
I think it's one of the best views in the area. Mountains, definitely. Airport, definitely. Lovely sunny day.
Definitely. Can't complain.
No, we're not.
No. Rieko, before we go deep into JetConsult and how do you work daily to make your clients experience the best possible, I would like to go a bit into your childhood memories, and if you could tell us a bit. You're the eldest of 4 siblings, and as you mentioned, you are a school dropout, as in your own words. School wasn't a Rieko thing. Tell us a bit about your upbringing and how maybe some of those memories, some of those experiences might have influenced the fact that you're today here as an entrepreneur.
I'm not sure if they helped me as to become an entrepreneur, because what I told you, I lived in a small village in the east part of Holland, close to the German border, just having the normal life a child should have, play in the woods and, very uncomplicated. Went to school, lower school, then up to high school. Still did okay there. Then after about 4 years, I think, in high school, I got bored. And I think after 2 more years, they told me it's probably better just to to leave the school because I finished my exam, and then the next exams they said, nah, it's time to go. School is not your thing. So I left, and I went into the military. And this is a thing I've always had since I was a child. In the family, everybody liked airplanes, aviation. So we would spend afternoons, they call it spotters. There was a military airbase close to us, 30 minutes away. Would go there and, look at the fighter jets and think like, oh, one day I want to be in one of those, I want to fly. So at that time I still wanted to be a pilot. Of course, that's what every kid wants to be. So that was the plan. Then I didn't do the whole school as expected. Went into the military service we had in Holland, in the army for 1 year, and thought, well, the military is my kind of thing, just not the army, because I didn't like to sleep in tents and everything. So that's when I had my chance to go to the Air Force. Went into the Air Force, got into a squadron that flew with F-16 fighter jets, and I was doing the planning, the navigation, and that's what I always say. Actually somebody sent me a picture this week with me in a full flight suit. I think 15 years after that young kid on, outside this airbase, I taxied in the back of an F-16 fighter jet, for the first time, and I taxied by, and I was sitting in the back, They took me for a 1-hour flight with the jet, and I was like, 15 years later, here I am on the other side of the fence, and that made me feel like, wow, this is cool. And I stayed many years in the Air Force, had some really good positions. It learned me a lot. And actually yesterday I was speaking to the chief of command, the general of the Air Force in Holland now, who was a friend of mine that when he showed up there, and I spoke to him yesterday, and he said, remember all those days and where you come from? I said, yeah, but it all helped me also. It's the upbringing, but it also helped me, the military upbringing. It helped me just, work together, be together, have a goal, fight for it. Don't do anything crazy, just, go for what you want.
Maybe exactly. That's one of the things, I think that there's two things you just mentioned. One is that there was already an interest for airplanes in your family, which is something that maybe from the very beginning already instilled this interest. Yeah. But also I think that from the journey you just shared, maybe it's because your family supported. So when school decided, or you decided that school wasn't your thing, they said, okay, it's fine. What do you want to do now? We're going to support you there. And that maybe give you the strength to just follow through what you actually had interest and passion. And then at the point where you moved to a commercial, and then saw that it wasn't you, like when you worked for somebody, you said, okay, maybe this is not for me. I want to have my own thing, the same as a school. School is not for me. I want to do my own thing, the thing that I really want.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you mentioned. I did many years after the Air Force. It was quite difficult because, the Air Force world is a protected world. You're with friends and friends for life. You fly together, you share a life together. And then I had to go into the normal world, and I took 6 months off just to get used to the normal world and to the normal people, just as a sabbatical. And then I started working in normal airlines, first in a normal airline, and then after a few sidetracks, I ended up in private aviation. I did that for quite some years, but then exactly what you say, at a certain point, that company got sold to another party. And there were a few times already before that I thought, I can do this myself. But I actually felt, quite comfortable also. And I think that's the point where people get, you're quite comfortable. We had a good life. My wife was working, I was working. Life was good, and but at a certain point, things are like,
that thing inside you.
Yeah. I can do this better myself. Yeah. And people that were put higher than you, and they would make plans that I wasn't happy with. Coming back to this thing again, and then when the company got sold, it got me the opportunity to, because I didn't like the new structure, and I think that was the final push I needed. And just what you said, you know, people normally when 40, they either get remarried again, or they buy a Harley Davidson or a Porsche. And I decided it was different, and I started JetConsult, and it's been good, because there finally I could follow the plan I wanted, and I was really lucky, because many of the customers that were with me in the private jet company, you know, flying all our business jets, I told them I was leaving and I was starting my own company, and I would expect everybody to say like, well, good luck, and everybody pretty much said, what's your new email address? And within 1 month, I was actually more busy already than ever expected.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo. Actually, as you just said, you know, like embarking on the entrepreneurial journey at the age of 40 is something that a lot of people, like even nowadays, there is this misconception that they will say, but you're already too old. Like, what? No, it's never too late or too early to become an entrepreneur. It's just when it's the right time for each person. Some people, like, they're already born entrepreneurs, that they feel it from the very, very, very early age, you know, like that they want to do their own thing. In your case, you wanted to do your own thing, but first you went into the Air Force, and then you went into commercial and went through, let's say, the corporate journey, like a corporate world. And then that's when you found out that you could do those things better or differently, and you wanted to do your own thing and be your own boss, but that comes like to me, like as I shared, you know, in previous episodes, I come from an entrepreneurial family. My granddad was an entrepreneur. My mom, she's an entrepreneur. And I never thought of being an entrepreneur, but it just felt right. You know, a couple of years back, it just felt right to start our own business and to, you know, to follow my own path. And that's some things that maybe now I can connect some of my childhood experiences to things I'm doing today, or some of the reasons why that got me that last push of like, try it.
Yeah, but it's about that push, it's about timing, because people also told me like, oh, it's been good, maybe you should have done this 10 years before.
But maybe you were not ready. You
No,
didn't have
the timing
knowledge.
wasn't ready, because my mindset wasn't ready for it, because I always thought I would never be an entrepreneur. You know, my mindset was totally different in those days. And it was just somewhere during that process where people told me like, you need to go from the operational part to the sales part. And then that's when I found out that I actually like sales. So it was step by step by step. Should I have done it earlier? Maybe. But the other thing is, timing was perfect at 40, and you know, I had a really good life until then, and you know, life got better after. But it's all the different experiences, and I think everything together, and that's, I think nowadays what people forget, because kids now at 20 they come from school, and you know, they all think they can be. It's not for everybody. It's the thing.
And I think that JetConsult, and now we're going to go deeper, but I think JetConsult is a result of all your knowledge, all your years of experience that you brought with you to the point where you decided to establish and to, you know, to open JetConsult. Tell us a bit about JetConsult as a business, private aviation company. How would you define, Rieko, a positive client experience in the business aviation field?
I think what we offer is, you know, it's not just luxury. It's people always have this misconception about, you know, it's luxury and it's, you know, champagne and caviar. I think definitely we're not offering this. We're offering time. We're offering, if you're a busy businessman, you know, with a family at home, but you have 3 meetings, you can take the example. Now we're here at Lascaux Airport that we're developing. You know, people from Andorra normally, if they have to go on a business meeting, they have to take the car to Barcelona Airport, 2.5 hours. You need to take your flight. So before you are airborne, it takes you 5 hours. To go to Paris, it's then 1 hour 30. You know, it's 6.5 hours before you're there. it's a long day, you know, and it's what you can avoid by using a business jet, because you know it's 30 minutes from Andorra everywhere to here. Then 15 minutes later you are pretty much airborne, and it's an hour and 15 to Paris. So from, let's say, Andorra La Vella to Paris is in 2 hours, 2 hours 30. You do your meeting, and you know, if your meeting is 1 hour, you come back.
And you're having dinner with your family, or even lunch.
You can pick up your kid back from school.
Exactly.
And normally it's in the time frame that normally you are landing, you know, in Paris, taking the normal business or the normal planes. You can be already back.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what we're offering. And of course, we're offering people going on holidays. We do many DJs, and for them it's another thing also, because they can do more shows during their season. They can do 2 shows. We fly them. They feel comfortable. They can go home, sleep in their own homes. And then it's the same with the sports people we fly. After the race, they can sleep at home, and they are, you know, it's time. We're offering time.
I think one of the things that we were actually discussing off the record was that when we think about luxury, to many people, you know, private jets come to mind. Why? Because they imagine this, you know, like someone sitting in a private jet, sipping some champagne, having some caviar, and this happens. Yes, this also happens. But what real, like, and regular private jet or business jet users and clients benefit from or appreciate most is the time saving, the time efficiency, the fact that they wake up at home, they go and have a meeting in Paris, and as you said, you know, they can be back home to pick up their kids from school. This is something that for certain people, of course, they need to be able to afford it, you know, but it's timeless, and it's beyond luxury. You know, the other day we were discussing with another entrepreneur what luxury is, and the concept of luxury is different for every person. For some of these people, the luxury of flying private, it's not being on a private jet and sipping champagne, but it's being at home for dinner with their family. So this might be the ultimate luxury for them.
Yeah. Most of the people don't sit on board of the jet. You know, we don't have that kind of public anyhow. Making like this and with my champagne and my caviar, what I say. For them, it's just get in, take off, get to their meeting. We arrange when they arrive. We arrange the transport. The transport is ready. They pick them up at the plane. They go to their meeting. Can we stay 1 more hour longer because the meeting is being delayed? Not a problem. We'll just call the pilot and we'll just wait 1 more extra hour. You know, if you have a Air France flight back or KLM, whatever,
no one's gonna wait for you.
No one's gonna wait for you. So you're stressed. Oh, am I gonna make it home? With us, you know, as long as we're back here, taking La Seu for an example, before it's getting dark, we're good. It's your plane for the day. And that's what we're offering. And I think in the business we have, luxury is time, being, you know, back with the...
And flexibility. You just mentioned something that I think like really impacts on the client experience when they have the peace of mind that they can just call you and say, look, Rieko, it's longer than expected. Can we fly instead of like just flying 6 p.m. like at 5? Can we just push it to 5:30? I think that's also...
And many times also, we're already done. The meeting was done so much quicker. Okay, cool. We call the crew. And the crew prepares the plane, and before you know, you're airborne again. Mm-hmm. And you know, we make sure you have your breakfast or your lunch, and you can enjoy. And it's nothing fancy. Yeah? Most of the passengers just want a salad, a wrap, nothing crazy, some sushi. The craziest thing we put on board normally is for people is they like their sushi. But that's it.
When do you think, when you have a lot of repeat clients, a lot of clients from Andorra and from the Netherlands, as you just mentioned, that they fly on a regular basis with you, but when you get reached out by a new potential client, what are the steps that you follow to understand their needs, their expectations, to get a better understanding of what do they expect from you to provide them the best service?
We're always very open, and I think that sets us off to many, because you know, many of our competitors just, you know, try to get them into the plane and make money on them. Of course, we try to make money also, but we do it in a different way. Like from day one, we've always been, and that's what we tell the people. When they come to us, what do you like? What kind of plane would you prefer? You know, how many people you fly with? We try to make like a general profile, but the most important thing is also we show them how much money you want to spend. We, for example, we don't offer planes. The cheapest is not always the best. So we have preferred operators. We just don't work with everybody because a cheap price can be, you know, interesting, but what happens, you know, is the crew trained very well?
That might affect the experience, and that might, at the end of the day, that goes down to JetConsult, not to.
It's all about this. It's all about this. So we're always open. People, when they get an offer from us, they will see the net price from the operator, and they will see the commission we charge. I've always been, since day one, we've put that open on the offers. Many people didn't like that, competitors, because they said, well, but I think, you know, even if it's really rich people, they still deserve to know what we make, you know, and we build a good company structure on this. So this is what we do. We build the company profile. We build the passenger profile. What would you like to eat? You have allergies. If you land, would you like a transfer or you just take a normal taxi? What would you like to drink? What would you like to read? You know, on short flights, that's less, but you know, we do flights for 10 to 12 hours. You know, it's the whole experience. We don't, you know, it's just get this whole thing right, so that people from when they board to when they land, they're happy.
It's smooth, yeah. It's a smooth journey.
And it cannot always go wrong, because you know, a few weeks ago we had the perfect plane, everything organized, and then the hostess wasn't just what the client wanted. Because you know, she didn't understand what he liked and everything. So when he came back, and you know, and then it's how you deal with this. Okay, so you know, the next flight, we make sure, you know, that the hostess is trained. And we told the airline, like, how can you put a hostess like this on a plane like this if she doesn't know about the plane? The airline said, oh, I'm so sorry, you know, and the next flight he books with us, we'll make it better. And that's things we don't have control about, but you know, it's how you deal with it after. So
yeah, let's just use that example, because I wanted to ask you about a really good experience and how did you dealt with some bad feedback. Let's go just a bit deeper on that example. How did you deal with that unsatisfied client? Because it was let's say the operator who did wrong, or who had a hostess that was not properly trained, but that affect JetConsult because it was the client booked through you. So how did you handle that?
Actually very simple, because that's another thing. We have customers that are with us on the journey for like since day one. So that makes it easier. It's if it would have been a new customer, it would have been a little bit more difficult, because he would have maybe thought, "Ooh, is this JetConsult?" You know, and that's why you always have to be really careful which preferred operator. But this was one of the preferred operators. So, you know, how you deal with this. So you go back to the airline and you tell them, guys, we spend a lot of money on this. Come on, this is not the way we want. Oh, we're so sorry. This airline is going through new structures and everything. So, you know, it's a good lesson also for us for the next time. Make sure, you know, is the hostess trained? Go back to them and put pressure on them for this. And then to the customer, we can only say like, well, you know us for like 15 years, because he flew with me with different airlines. This is not the way we want it, but on your next flight, leave it with us. And what we do on the next flight, we put an extra present for him on board, you know, what he likes, something like this, because he knows also that there's no way we can make up for the client. He still had his food and everything was good, but it's just the experience. But now we just put some nice present, something that, hey, we thought about you, and I call with him, or the guys in the office call with the client, and just say like, okay, well, you know, and they all know it's this, but you know, it's how you deal with it after.
Something that it's, I think, important in this particular example is that when you have engaged clients, loyal clients, people that they've been with you throughout the years, is because you experience what they feel with you, the experience they have with you is worth coming back. And that makes that client more forgivable, when they have a bad experience, to be a bit more flexible and understandable than if they would not be a regular client. So also having being consistent on that experience. When you have, let's say, one bad experience throughout that journey, that client is going to be more understandable, forgivable to you, towards you.
Yeah, how we normally, how the business is done. And we do it with passion, we do it from the heart. And JetConsult it's my baby, but the guys that work in the office, they are like this also. Yeah, they feel it, because we feel bad if a flight doesn't go well. And it happens, planes break down also. It happens, and it's easier when a plane breaks down, like in Barcelona, or because, last year, one of the planes broke down here on a technical issue in La Seu. Well, you see, it's a short runway, it's very, very specified which planes can land here. Well, if a plane breaks down here, it's interesting. So in this case, we asked the passengers, please, to travel to Girona, because we couldn't find a plane. And in the meantime, where they were traveling to Girona, we already had another airplane found. The plane was flying into Girona, and by the time they got to Girona, 30 minutes later, we could fly them out. And that's what we tell the passengers also. We're always trying to be very honest, never disguise or lie about anything. Like, okay, if a plane breaks down from La Seu, it's getting challenging, but we always manage it. Can we?
It's also giving solutions sometimes, like when you bring a problem already with a solution, that problem seems much smaller. So even though it is an inconvenient, but you say, okay, look, we have this problem. This plane cannot fly today, so you will not be able to fly today from La Seu, but we have already arranged a transportation for you to go to Girona. And in the meantime, by the time you get there, you're going to have... So I think that coming with a solution when you come with a problem, it's
all about communication. And I think it's the main thing, and it's also important for the people when they call, they always get the same person on their phone. So you like to speak with this guy, you call this guy. If he's not there, there's another one. But it's not like bigger offices where you then get Mrs. A, then Mr. B, and people don't understand your problem. You're just one of them. With us, you are, our customer, and we make sure you're getting dealt with.
And having that close relationship with your team as well, of course, with you, as one of the founders, but also with your team, that also allows you to gather feedback and for the clients to feel comfortable sharing when experiences can be improved, or when they had a really good experience, to say, look, today flight was spot on because this hostess was incredible, or I don't know, the pilot, in this case, I don't know, did this and that, or thank you so much for having. So I think this is also a chance for you to collect feedback more easily, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like this. I have a personal touch basically with every customer, and if I don't have the personal touch, the customer comes through the other guys. Okay, they have the personal touch, but it's always the personal touch, because that makes it so much better.
Talking about the experience, you just touched upon the team. What are the skills do you think that professionals need today to really embrace this customer-centric approach, to be more empathetic? What are the skills that you feel that your team, or you instill in your team to provide the best service, the best experience?
We just, the thing is, and it's quite difficult. Yeah, we've hired people that we had to let go again, because it's quite a demanding job. It's not a 9-to-5 job. It's a 24/7 job. So you need to sacrifice even, it doesn't matter if you're the founder or if you're, the junior that comes in. By the time you're into the business, the business is always there. And even if a customer calls you at a certain time frame that you're like, maybe now is not a nice time frame, you still have to be there. You have to smile, and you just have to be there for the client, make the client feel important. All within reasons. That's one of the things also. So the people that work with us need to also make the client understand, like, okay, this is, it's yes, we say
this is urgent and this is not.
And this is not urgent, and yes, this is important, or maybe what you're asking now is a little bit. that's not the way we do it. So it's people skills, and if you come with us, there's guys with us that came from young age. We try to train you. We're the old dogs. We have the people skills. We try okay, we do it like this. If we don't do it like this, it's all about that people skills. And everybody has a different approach. Try to get to that, but also be tough. Because customers, I've had customers that would yell. Customers that we didn't know too well yet, and they came and then they started yelling at us after a flight. Something is not okay, and even if a flight was good, but we want it like this, or you should do this. And I'm very easy with that. Customers like that, one time we tell them, okay, the second time you yell again against us, maybe it's time to go somewhere else. It's all about the interpersonal skills. It's JetConsult. We're in a niche. We're not like mainstream.
You don't do volume, you do quality.
That's why the biggest DJs in the world, fly with us. That's why many of the big MotoGP and cycling guys fly with us, because they call us and we always pick up the phone. We always answer our WhatsApp, and we fight for you. And that's I think the most important thing. Absolutely. To work with us, to understand, and it's not about about which champagne is the best and everything, because that's what we got catering people for. It's making sure that the passenger has the best experience, because they spend a lot of money and it needs to be right.
Absolutely. And something that you just touched upon, there's two things here. One is the lead by example. I think that's something like even in small businesses, when the teams see that one of the founders acts a certain way or treats clients a certain way, they will kind of feel more towards that kind of behavior or learn. And that is something that I always say in the opening, a business can only achieve excellence if the founder or the founders are willing to continuously learn and don't get stuck in just saying, we do things different this way and there's no other way we will be done, but just continue learning. So then the teams also see that. And also something you said is that and that's something that I recently posted on LinkedIn. You're not for everyone as a business, you're not for everyone, and that's okay. Pretending or wanting to serve every single customer out there might not work so well. Why? Because there are customers that will not value or will not be in the same frequency or values that you work in line with. And then at some point that relationship is going to be damaged because they're not the same values of respect, of trust. Exactly. So sometimes it's just better to.
And that's how we do it.
That's the best for both sides.
And also what you just said about learning, since I started here in Andorra 3 years ago, 1 year later, I got in touch with my now business partner, who came from a total different, who's an entrepreneur with one of the biggest countries in Holland, and now lives in Andorra, and comes from a different background actually, total different stuff. But I'm learning a lot from his entrepreneurial, because he started being an entrepreneur when he was 16, so he did it from day one, and has a total different approach. And for me that's interesting again also, because we now have Holland, we are the Netherlands, and we have Andorra. But now with him, I'm looking into, okay, how would he do this? It's never too late. Now I'm getting almost to my 50s, so it's time to get things going again.
Reinvent yourself.
Yeah, but also never be too old or too stubborn to learn, because now I go to him and say, how would you do it? This is the reason why I started working with him, because you're never too old, what you say. And then now we see we're starting some different approaches. Now we're with his help, we're in this beautiful FBO terminal, and Andorra La Seu Airport is getting busier because of one of those things. So it's that, never being too old to learn. And even customers sometimes tell me things like, that might be smart, and then it's just, and then there's no, this is not the way we do it. This might be the way. So it's being like a chameleon,
Absolutely, yeah. The ability of adaptability, I would say, like to reinvent yourself, to constantly challenge yourself to be better, or to have a different perspective, or to have a different approach to things. And
serviceability also, provide the best service there without losing the identity of JetConsult. It's like, this is what we do, this is what we stand for. What you see is what you get, and that's with us. What you see is what you get.
And understanding that, and now we're going to touch upon this, but for example, technology is something that what it is today, it might not be tomorrow. I'm not going to even say in a year, but things might change overnight. Like the arrival of AI, everyone was talking about AI, and one day to another, ChatGPT becomes like public. Everyone starts using ChatGPT, and everyone now gets to understand and to use on a daily basis what AI can do and see its capabilities. For years, we could hear like Elon Musk and the top people talking about AI, but then it arrived. So it's also important to be there on the ground to understand what's happening in the world, to adapt to the new preferences of the customers, the new tastes, the new technologies. And touching upon technologies, how do you integrate technology in your customer journey?
Well, when I need to go back to this. When we started, there was not it's not even that long ago. We're speaking about 2005, 2006, so that's like 15 years ago. The kind of jobs we do as a private broker, people would call you, and you would have a book, and in that book it was listed with airlines. You would call them, hey, you have a plane available. And then all of a sudden in 2007, there was a company that came with a computer-based program, and you could put in the routing you wanted, and airlines would put in their availability, and you would see, and you would just have to click, and you would get back. And that made life easy for us, but it would make life also easy for the clients, because instead of waiting 3-4 hours before I was finished all my phone calls, now we could have an offer. And we've seen that evolve, and now it's just an app, so we don't have to stay at home. No, you just, even on the ski slopes, somebody calls you, oh, you just go off the slope, you take your app and you just click, click, click. Okay, yeah, we could do this. I think this is the price approximately, and do you want me to, yeah, have a look, click, click, bam, and you send it off. So technology is making life much easier. We've even now, with another company of us, we've developed a private jet app as a business. It's actually called an empty leg app, because our planes sometimes make empty legs to fly, pick up a customer from Barcelona or from Milan, whatever. And me and my partner invested in an app that it's called Catch a Jet. And what they do is they basically sell those empty legs on the same way. So we can sell the empty leg there. The owners of the planes can make money, the airlines can make money, and we're not flying empty, which is, it's perfect also for our environment, because we're not flying empty anymore. We sell those flights. We get other people using, private jets, and it works. So that's technology also. And then AI and all this stuff, it's probably gonna get more and more into the planes. And that's a good thing with having younger employees. They teach me. And the first time I'm like, oof, what's this? And now it's too easy, because, making presentations and everything, normally I would, shut myself down for 2 days. Now I'm done in half a day. So it's actually quite nice.
And it's good what you just say, it's good that there is from them, there's a learning from you on seniority, on experience, and you from them on new technologies and things that are coming really quick. And like this young generation are much, like I am young, you are young, but we have younger generations that are already in the workplace, that they go much quicker. You do like this, you're like, okay, good. Oh, it's fantastic. When we talk about JetConsult, you're present in Andorra, you also operate from the Netherlands. How do you ensure that there is an experience consistency throughout your flights, your airports, your operators? Is there any processes or certain criteria, as you said, that you follow through just to ensure that the experience that your clients can have wherever they're flying from and to is always the same?
Yeah, it all stands with preferred operators. We only work with operators we know that have proven themselves to us, like with good quality of catering, good quality of planes, good quality of high standards of pilots, serviceability. We want planes to be there like 1 hour 30 before arrival, so there's enough time when the passenger is early. And through the years, we're entering our 10th year. Through the years, we've built up relationships with airlines, and it works both ways, huh? Because it's the way we approach them and it's the way they approach us, and that way we work together. If something is not totally correct or we have a delay or, because of weather, there's many people that start yelling at them, and we're not like this. It's a partnership, and it's the same partnership as between us and the client. There's the partnership because if the airline delivers a good job, and and many people forget that, because if you show up with a third-rate airline, with all respect to everybody that's trying to do this job, the airline at the end is the visit card. It's the business card from our company. So we can be really well with JetConsult and have the greatest relationships with the client, but if we would rent an airline or an operator that shows up and is not according their standards, what you say, it comes back to us. So that's the thing. Consistency, good operators. We work, like if we have flights, like for example in South America, South Africa, we have dedicated partners there that work along our standards, and they assist us, and they go the extra mile for our customers. We know them, there's 10-year relationships. Perfect. They can make some money on the flights, everything. So it's all about this, earning. People can earn money. We make sure that everybody gets what they deserve, to keep the standards, and that's it. It doesn't matter if you fly in China or, in a few weeks we have a big tour from a big band through Southern America. Very challenging, but with the right partners, you will make it happen.
Actually, you mentioned something that I think it takes us back to working with clients, but also partners, suppliers, that they work in the same frequency, in the same values, that they share the same values as you. And I think that's also very important, because when you treat your providers, because they're your service providers, with respect, with understanding, with trust, they will be more willing to work with you than other like for them, our clients, because you bring them business, that don't treat them with the same respect, with the same understanding, with the same...
Or try to squeeze, that's what you see. This flight is amount X, but yeah, can you take some money off?
So it's all about, that respect for the people you work with, and those values that going through the working with clients, but also working with the service providers, that have an impact on the experience that your end client will have.
It's all about that. We tell our customers, we're not always the cheapest. We don't pretend to be the cheapest, but we have the good operators. Yes, so maybe if you balance us with broker 1, 2, and we're number 3, yes, they might be cheaper, or they might just charge a minimum commission. But at the end, we deliver quality. But I need to make commission also, because the guys in the office need to be paid, and everything like this. So it's all about this. It comes back to that.
Before we end up our chat, Rieko, as I mentioned in the opening, you're about to celebrate your JetConsult's 10th anniversary early next year. And I would love you to end up this lovely episode sharing with our audience a bit of some of the lessons you've learned along these first 10 years of JetConsult.
Be yourself. Don't try to pretend to be somebody else. Stay with you, stay close to yourself. Be the person you are. I think that's most important. What you see is what you get. And just keep delivering, because once you stop delivering, the clients will go. I think that's the most important thing. Make sure you surround yourself with people that are like you. It's very important. Treat people like you want to be treated. And I think that's all lessons what I learned in airlines before, where people were not treated like they should be. That's when I started JetConsult. I said, it's not going to be like in previous companies. You treat people like you want to be treated. You pay people like you want to be paid. So that's lessons. Stay with you. Focus on the persons that work with you. Focus on your clients, on your business, and also just enjoy life next to it. Huh?
And something that I see from you is that you're very tenacious, so you know exactly where you want to go and that direction. But at the same time, you don't have that ego that some people might have. So you're always like touching the ground and connected to your team, and always willing to learn on different perspectives from your business partner, from your team, from your clients, from everyone. And that's something that for me, through this podcast journey that I've interviewed over 20 entrepreneurs now, I think something that you all share, like successful entrepreneurs, is you're always willing to keep learning from everyone. That the only way forward is just going along with a team and with people, because you cannot pull a business just on your own.
No, you cannot. I did it for 2-3 years all by myself, and I would not go back to that period, because that was, working 24/7 all by yourself, and you're losing out on time with your family and on everything, with friends and on quality time, and
sometimes that's what it takes to take off the business.
It does, and it's been
yeah. You have a team, and you can, let's say, go back to have fun and have that time that your family deserves, or
it's like this, and it's been a great 9 years so far, and we're looking forward to year 10, and I would invite you to come back probably in a year from now, because this year we're working on some really interesting things, and we're gonna probably blow up the business again with some interesting stuff, which I invite you to come back in 1 year, because in 1 year I think there might be some really good changes. And we're still happy, and we're not there yet, and we're here also for the people of Andorra. That's one of our big goals from Chris, my business partner, and mine, is to provide Andorra with service, provide the Andorran people with the level of comfort we have here, and the journey is just started. We're not there, so it's going to be an interesting year, but it's going to be an interesting another 10 years, I guess.
Very exciting. We're gonna keep an eye on you. Thank you so much, Rieko, for hosting us today in your lovely hangar. And thank you all so much for joining us today, either if you're watching or listening, and see you on the next episode.